Hi, back again. I think the letter I, especially for an English speaker, can be very problematic because since we have two pronunciations with I, and a lot of times when a word begins with I in English, it has the I sound instead of the, and the letter I has a lot of different pronunciations. So you have the letter I, let me give you an example, just give me a second, I know I'm off camera. But for example, you have the letter I when you have island, right? Or pie. There the letter I is I. But when you have the word, for example, tin, this letter and this letter really, the sound of this letter, the sound of the I here and the sound of the I here really have nothing in common. Maybe in some languages, they would be two different letters, right? So, because this is I and this is nitten. But wait, I'm still not finished. You know, like on those commercials, but wait, there's still more to sell. Then you have the letter I as in the word pizza. Let me see. Yeah, put it up here. And here the letter I is pronounced like the I in Spanish, eat. So it's pizza, right? So the letter I in English can be very, it's so funny because we're so used to pronouncing it in so many different ways. When we see a word that looks like our word, we'll pronounce it that way instead of just remembering that the pronunciation of the letter I is very simple in Spanish, E. So it's A, E, 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 E. I think the letter O is also that way too, that the letter O has, well, at least in American English, various pronunciations. So, I'm off camera, I know. So let's look at the letter I. So you have the word Ida, I-D-A, or Idea. You have the word idea. It looks like in our language idea, I-D-E-A, but it's not. It's idea. You have the word ignorancia. Ignorance in English, but ignorancia. Ignorar. Igualado. You hear that a lot on the telenovelas, especially the Mexican telenovelas. And it's un let me pronounce it correctly though. Igualado. Igualado means, it's an insult. It's like someone who is recognized by society. I don't happen to recognize this, but society, let's say in a society that has a very class-based society. So here's someone in a very strong class-based society of the lower classes imagine daring to speak to someone who's recognized as someone of the upper classes in the same manner. So I guess you could say you're very presumptuous. No. Sassy. Someone who dares to speak as if they are equal to someone else? Yes, I guess you could say that. That would be the meaning. Let me see. Okay, so as time is going by, let me end this video and then I'll continue on the other video, but because I want to make sure that we understand something. Okay. Once again, we're talking about the letter I. The letter I, the problem with the letter I is not Spanish, it's English. So when you see the letter I in Spanish, never pronounce it like I. And never pronounce it as if it were the short I as in our language, like in mitten or kitten or kit, it. It's pronounced E. So, in Spanish, this is PA, because this word does exist. But this is not called a false cognate. It's called an artificial cognate. They look alike, but they really have nothing to do with each other. This is pie, And in our language, you know, pastel, pastelito. And in Spanish, it would be, pie would be feet, a foot, right? And island in Spanish would be isla, isla. And pizza is pizza. Now, in Spanish, it's pronounced almost the way it's pronounced in English. Why? Because in English, if we adopt a word from Latin, sometimes, depending on when we adopt that word, or from another Latin-based language, and depending on how we adopt that, when we adopt that word, the word will come in with the original pronunciation of the vowel, right? For example, let me see, tortilla, ia, ia. The I is pronounced tortilla. The I is pronounced like the I in Spanish, ia. Let me think of another example. Maybe not even with the letter I, but let's say the letter O, which also can be problematic. No, because we don't say opera, we say opera. Ah, ah. Does that we pronounce our O's in English? Ah? No. We pronounce the O's in English O. But people say opera, 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 instead of opera. Okay, oh, I can't think of a Mexico, Mexi-E. Yeah, like Mexico. The E is pronounced like an E. And I guess sometimes people do say hola, right? In English they say hola, right? They don't say ala, they say hola. And they're the O. So sometimes, depending on when the word is adopted into the language, it will retain its Latin-based sound in the vowels. And that's what makes it difficult, because now you have vowels that are pronounced more like they're pronounced in the dramatic way of English. Germanic. I hope I don't sound like I said dramatic. Germanic. Versus then you have the vowels that are pronounced like the Latin way, which can be difficult. So that's why you need to go into istudyguides.com or welcome, WYLCOME, okay, .com, and look at the letters, look at the words, and try to pronounce the words according to the way vowels are pronounced in Spanish. Otherwise, you'll be pronouncing the vowels and therefore the words incorrectly. So in the next video, we're going to continue with the letter I, and we're going to finish up with the O and the U. So it would be E, O, U. And the vowels are, do I hear them? I, A, E, O, U. I, A, E, O, U. I, A, E, O, U. Thank you. Have a good day now.